7th of November 2022. But first, the headlines. Tanzanians pay last respect to 19 who died in a flight accident. Majaliwa's dream turned to reality. Good evening, I'm Agnes Tuniga and thank you very much for watching us tonight. You can also follow us live via YouTube channel TBConline and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter pages at TBConline. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has led government officials and hundreds of mourners to pay last respect to the 19 victims who lost their lives in yesterday's tragic plane crash in Kagera region. During the sad occasion that was held at Kaitaba Stadium earlier today, Prime Minister said the government will cover all funeral expenses and that a lot have been learned to improve in future rescue operations. Also, the Prime Minister asked residents of Bukoba municipality and Tanzanians in general to remain calm while the government continues to conduct a detailed investigation into the plane crash that happened near Bukoba Airport. Faithangaga reports.
A deeply sad crowd. Relatives of the deceased and civilians gather at Kaitaba Stadium to bid farewell to the 19 victims of the airplane crash that occurred yesterday. The event is led by the Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa, who urges civilians to remain calm.
The
government has brought experts who are already at the scene of the accident. They are investigating the reasons behind the accident. I urge you citizens to remain calm until the team finishes with the investigation.
The Minister for Works and Transport, Professor Makame Mbarawa, says the aviation activities will resume soon since the Bukoba Airport is now safe.
Uwanja wa Kagera au uwanja wetu wa Bukoba upo vizuri na salama sana.
The Bukoba Airport is a safe airport, and we are currently in the final stages of removing the precision airplane from the scene of the crash.
A young man who volunteered to save the lives of some passengers who were on board with the precision airplane that plunged into Lake Victoria in Bukoba, Majaliwa Jackson, says that he has fulfilled his dream of serving his nation. Due to the efforts he made, President Samia Suluhu Hassan has instructed the Minister of Internal Affairs, Hamad Masauni, to give the young man a place in the Fire and Rescue Brigade despite receiving various presents and cash from the institutions and individuals. Here is the report by Charles Mwebea, read by Nasa Kingo.
A young man who became a hero in the midst of sorrows. In one of the hospital wards at Kagera Referral Hospital, TBC speaks to the 21-year-old man, Majaliwa Jackson, a young man who has caught the attention of many due to his compassionate acts. He starts by telling us where he was in the day of the event. Majaliwa and his friends started to approach the plane.
Nilikuwa niko karibu na mazingira ya kazi.
I was at my work area. I sell sardines. When the accident happened, I saw it with my own eyes. The plane was coming from Kyaka and it shocked me. It looked as if it was going to land at Msila Island. So I stood there to see what was going to happen. And then the plane redirected to the port. Then the pilot slowly landed it into the water.
Mpaka eneo ya tukio mimi nafika pale wakawa wako wanahangaika kufanyaje kufungua mlango.
The pilot of the plane was communicating using signals.
Tulikuwa watu watatu tukasukuma mtumbwi
We were three of us when we started driving the boat toward the plane. The airplane passengers were struggling to open the airplane's door. The door at that time was locked. So I started hitting the door very hard, and then it opened. And that is when people started coming out of the plane. Then I moved over to the other side where the pilot was seated. Then the pilot directed me to break the glass windows. Then afterwards, some of the airport's attendants came to join hands into the rescuing efforts. One man directed me not to break the windows because the amount of water entering the plane was small, but I insisted that we should break the windows. He kept insisting that I should not break the glass windows.
Due to all the efforts and hard work that Majaliwa Jackson has shown, he has been recognized by President Samia Suluhu Hassan, and she has directed that Majaliwa Jackson to be handed over to Minister of Internal Affairs and be given a position at the Fire and Rescue Brigade.
The President of the African Court on Human and People's Rights, Judge Amani Aboud, has sent condolence message to the government of Tanzania and its people following yesterday's plane crash incidents in Kagera region, which caused the death of 19 people. Judge Aboud gave the message during the 67th ordinary meeting, which had a task of reviewing and giving judgments on 10 cases. The participants observed a 1-minute silence in memory of those who lost their lives in the crash.
My condolences to all those who have lost their loved ones in this tragic accident. My condolences also go to the President, Samia Suluhu Hassan, the government, and the Tanzanians as a whole.
President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, earlier today has sent his condolence message to President Samia Suluhu Hassan and Tanzanians as a whole. Tanzanian Pilots Association, TAPA, Captain Khalili Iqbal, has advised the government to invest in modern rescue equipment at airports, especially those located near water sources such as lakes, as well as regular training for the rescue forces so that they can be ready for disasters when they happen. The General Secretary of the Tanzanian Pilots Association, Captain Iqbal, said that following the plane crash that happened in Bukoba, Kagera region yesterday,
I'm sure the authority now will think about having a proper team, organized team, well-trained, maintain possibly 1 or 2 choppers in Bukoba, 1 in Mwanza. You know, it certainly would have helped. They would have fired up the aircraft, reached at the site in 2 or 3 minutes, you know, dropped the military divers and did professional rescue, you know. So it's a pity that we always do things and we learn the hard way. It's a pity.
In addition, Iqbal added that passengers should follow the instructions given by the flight attendants in order to be ready to save themselves when disasters occurs.
The search and rescue and the rescue team provide them with necessary equipment, training, you know. This is something, you know, the Chicago Convention on Search and Rescue, Annex 12, clearly stated since 1945. We had the Bukoba airport since Mwalimu Nyerere's time. They should have thought, Mwanza, Bukoba, Zanzibar, we have water bodies touching very close to the runway. This needs to be implemented now, you know. Yeah, and that's what I can say. And again, on behalf of the Pilots Association, TAPA, and on behalf of a lot of good citizens in Tanzania, we offer our condolences to the bereaved families and to the deceased. They rest in peace.
President Samia Suluhu Hassan, together with other heads of states and government, are attending the UN's 27th annual conference of the parties, COP27, that is taking place at Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. The summit is presided over the Egypt's Foreign Affairs Minister, Sameh Shokri. President Samia had this to say.
Our yesterday's inaction should not be our today's excuse, because science has unfolded the scale of this planetary crisis in its effects to vulnerable communities and our course of action. The COVID-19 lockdowns gave us a stepping stone towards the right path. This green path is sustainable through transformed and modernized industry and infrastructure, accelerated economic diversification and competitiveness, and strengthened resilience. Excellencies, science has shown a direct correlation between human prosperity and environmental prosperity. Nature-based economy can be our reality if only we have a shared vision and leverage opportunities that deliver real and structural changes.
The COP27 builds on the outcomes of the COP26 to deliver action and issues critical to solving climate issues. It also seeks renewed solidarity between countries to deliver on the landmark Paris Agreement for people and the planet. The UN COP27 summit focuses on the converging climate, food, energy and debt crisis. At the COP27, countries come together to act towards achieving the world's collective climate goals as agreed under the Paris Agreement and the Convention. This year's summit theme is Together for Implementation. The summit aims to shift the focus from negotiations and planning to action on the ground where it is most needed. It also wants to speed up adaptation to climate change impacts as well as emission reductions. British High Commissioner to Tanzania David Conker says UK welcomes the vision of the Tanzanian government led by President Samia Suluhu Hassan on economy, jobs creation, investment, private sector and tax. In an exclusive interview with Nasa Kingu of TBC, Ambassador Conker asserts that all those areas are key to attract more economic investments from UK and other parts of the world.
Has been very clear. Economic growth, creating jobs, bringing in investment is key to her vision. She said that many, many times, and we agree with that vision. So, and in addition to that, she's been very clear that she sees the private sector, private investment, as being an essential part of delivering those jobs, that economic growth, and that vision for a prosperous, green, growing Tanzania. There are many UK invested businesses already in Tanzania, whether that's in the food and drink sector, whether it's in mining, whether it's in banking, tourism, is a sector where we have a lot of UK expertise and businesses already here, already making a difference. That gives us a great base. That's the foundation on which we can build. And we do want to build on that, and we want to bring in more UK investment and grow those UK businesses that are already there, in partnership with Tanzanian partners in many cases, and in a way that's consistent with the President's vision.
Furthermore, Ambassador Conker congratulated efforts taken by the government to fight climate change.
Tanzania's decision to increase its own what's called nationally determined contribution, which is its own statement of its own ambition on things like emissions reduction, increased it a long way, up to 30 to 35% reduction of emissions on a business as usual path. That is an amazing statement of intent. It's basically Tanzania's political leaders saying to the world, we want to take action on climate change. We're up for doing this. If you help us and support us, and if you provide that financing, we're going to deliver. And I think this is now could be a really positive part of Tanzania's international image and, if you like, brand internationally. that it is one of those developing nations that wants to develop in a climate resilient, climate effective way and is willing and interested in the international engagement necessary to achieve that.
The Tanzania Railways Corporation, TRC, has signed a contract for the purchase of 26 SGR truck maintenance machines and equipment with Sangshin Rolling Stock Technology Company from South Korea in order to increase the efficiency of the project. After the signing ceremony in Dar es Salaam City, Director General of TRC, Masanja Kadogosa, said that the machine's worth is $51 million will reduce human resource needed in the project.
Utekelezaji wa mkataba huu ambao utahusisha utengenezaji, mafunzo,
the implementation of the contract, which will involve manufacturing, training, agreement, and a reconciliation, is expected to take place in 12 months, while the goal is to increase the efficiency of the railway maintenance.
Na kupunguza kufanya matengenezo ya njia kwa kutumia watu.
Meanwhile, the ambassador of South Korea, Kim Sang-ju, said that it is a continuance of the excellent cooperation that exists between the two countries, while the vice president of Sangshin Rolling Stock Technology Company, Charles Park, said that it is a great opportunity for them.
I think the train, I would say, train 100 years ago in Korea is a backbone of development of national economy. It's very important. Transportation tool, very important. The bullet train also very, very important. So once the Tanzania completed this project, Tanzania will lead in East Africa. Also, your economic level will be superb, level 1, level 2, level 5 in Africa. Today we signed the contract, and now we have to implement the contract. Implementing, it's not just a business to make money or to do some for profit. In implementing, I think it's a friendship.
This one is very important on behalf of the SGR contract for the SGR line maintenance machines. So this 26 machine is going to make your maintenance level is much higher. That's I'm trusting 100%, and we are very much just the side of TRC, and we are the lifetime partner from TRC.
The Minister for Investment, Industry and Trade, Dr. Ashatu Kijaji, says the government has succeeded to reduce and cancel a total of 232 charges, fees and penalties in the period 2017 up to 2022, a measure that has reduced the costs and procedures of doing business in the country. The minister made the remarks in Dar es Salaam during the meeting dubbed the Business News Editors, which aims at providing information on the implementation of the Business Strategic Plan to improve the investment environment through Blueprint. Dr. Kijaji said that the goal of the government is to improve the business environment in terms of laws, regulations, fees, as well as to enable the authority to issue licenses and permits to the investors without bureaucracy.
Ada na faini zilizopunguzwa ni zile zilizokuwa zikitozwa na mamlaka.
They reduced the fees are those that were charged by the government institutions. We still continue to deal with our coordination within the government. Some of those institutions include the authority of the laboratory of the chief chemist of the government, the Sugar Board, and Tanzania Bureau of Standards.
Tanzania, wakala wa usalama na afya mahali pa kazi.
Among other areas improved include the area of law and regulations and moving services closer to the investors. Domestic market capitalization at the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, DSE, has decreased by 0.44% from 10.17 trillion to 10.13 for the week ending 4th of November. The decrease is due to the falling in prices at the Swissport counter, Simba, Twiga, DCB, and Nickel. giving the market trends of the week ending 4th of November, DSE. Business Development Manager Leonard Kameta said the total market capitalization has also decreased by 1.1%.
Week ending 4th of November 2022, the domestic market capitalization has decreased by 0.44%. That is from 10.17 trillion to reach 10.13 trillion for the week ending 28th of October. This is due to decrease in prices of Swissport, Simba Company, Trigger Company, Dar es Salaam Community Bank, and Nicole companies. During the same week ending 4th of November, the total market capitalization of the shares in the stock market has decreased again on 1.1% from 15.67 trillion T shillings as of October 21st to reach 15.50 trillion shillings. The reduction is in the market size is due to the decrease in the prices of Jubilee Holding Insurance, East African Breweries, KCB Company.
Kameta also added that the liquidity on the stock side has increased by 2.38 billion from 2.11 in the week ending 28th October, 2.38 billion. That item concludes our local news tonight. International news is up next. And here is Nyambona Masamba with the international news.
Hello, my name is Nyambona Masamba, presenting to you international news. Ethiopian government and rebels from its northern Tigray region have established a telephone hotline. The move was announced by African Union leaders as the second round of talks gets underway in Kenya. The two sides achieved a get-through last week in South Africa, signing a peace deal after 2 years of conflicts. From Kenya, we are going to Somalia. Somal says it's an attack on a military base by suspect Al-Shabaab fighters. The early morning assault began with 2 car bombs in a village in central Galgudud region, followed by heavy fighting. A Somali army captured Ikaid village from Al-Shabaab last week, and it is not yet clear how many people were killed in the attack. From Africa, we are heading to Europe. There is a standoff between Italian officials and rescue ships carrying migrants and refugees that was allowed to dock on Sunday. Humanitarian one has been ordered to leave the Sicilian port of Catania, and its captain has refused to do so until everyone on board is disembark. So far, 144 people, including people with bad condition, were given assistance. Dozens of them were refused permission. Crew members of another migrant rescue ship has docked in Catania. Earlier has also refused to leave. Migrants on vessel operated by Doctors Without Borders were waiting for permission to disembark. One of the doctors has the following to say. The opening ceremony of the UN COP27 conference has taken place in the city of Sharm el-Sheikh of Egypt. Participants have busy 2 weeks ahead of the report by the World Meteorology Organization finding the last 3 years have been the highest in record. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says a window of action is closing fast. Right now, at least 10 people are still missing a day after a building caught fire and collapsed in Baghdad. Rescue crews are on the scene and say the cause of breeze is still not clear. Iraq's Civil Defense Director and civil firefighters are among who injured. Flammable materials such as perfume were reported stored in the building.
And that was international news by Nyambona Masamba, and now sports news. Let's now join Mario Cheto for sports news.
Duo artist, costume design, and the painter will showcase their visual artists to demonstrate a theme known as Chana, aimed at removing bad customs in Tanzania society. Speaking during the press conference held in Dar es Salaam painter Masudi Kibwana and Jokato Makeke said they introduced Chana to act as a symbolic demonstration of removing bad customs in society.
The theme is Chana. So through that theme, Chana, so I've prepared a lot of paintings that is telling us more about what is going on in our community.
Basing on teaching people and eliminating those bad beliefs in the society, like the killing of the old people, like the killing of the the people with albinism.
Representative from Tanzania Artists Council, Basata, and the organizer of the show said the message to be portrayed by the visual artists will demonstrate the power of artists in society.
If you look at it with another eye, for example, when you say Chanuo, it means to try to sift the troublesome maybe attitudes or the troublesome behaviors of a society and try to put those aside and to move ahead with those attitudes or behaviors that are acceptable. So in a way, at this time, when we say that the world is experiencing a lot of difficulties, I would say that it is an appropriate moment to have an exhibition such as this.
The actress with the musician, this is the collaboration for us. So for us, it's a collaboration that has the very unique taste. That's why I have to go for the unique thing in order people to get the unique taste from the exhibition.
The artists will showcase painting and costumes to educate community on bad traditions in society as reflected in the same theme. Liverpool will face defending champion Real Madrid in 16th round of Champions League after the draw revealed today. The match will give Liverpool a chance to revenge after being defeated in final last season as they witnessed Madrid holding 14 titles in competition history. Other matches, RB Leipzig will face England champion Manchester City, Club Brugge will play Benfica, 5 times champion AC Milan welcome Tottenham, Frankfurt entertain Napoli. Borussia Dortmund will play Chelsea, Inter Milan will face Porto, PSG will play against German champion Bayern Munich. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Malio Cheto, TBC News.
And that marks the end of our news bulletin for tonight. I've been your host, Agnes Tuniga, and thank you very much for watching.